Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone. Welcome to number 74 in our Learning Life Skills Together weekly Zoom meetings. I have with me today Corinne Yost and Rosa from Chester County Teen Talk Line. And I'm anxious to get talking with them, but maybe I won't be so anxious if we stop and do a little practice, get ourselves settled in to talk about teen talk and to talk in general about effective communication, which is where we are right now in sort of rolling out the Learning Life Skills program. So if you would like, you could just sort of put a pause in things right now. So maybe you're in a place where you could even close your eyes. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're sitting, maybe you're standing, maybe you're lying down. However you are, let's just stop for a second and feel what it feels like right now. What's it like in your body? What are you feeling? Are your muscles tight? Are you trying to move? Are there impulses to keep going? Or can you settle just a little bit? Maybe feeling into the posture that you're in, feeling yourself sitting or standing or lying down. Maybe you even notice that you are breathing. So I'm not asking you to change your breathing or get involved with it in any way. Just noticing that it's happening. And then when you're ready, you could start to think a little bit about people that you care about. Or maybe you could choose one of them and bring them sort of into your mind, into your mind's eye. You might see an image of them, or you might feel them in near your heart. Maybe that's possible. And just getting in touch with that person that you care about, because we're going to send wishes or a prayer for them, to them. So the first wish that we might have is that they be happy. Wish or pray for their happiness. And the next thing would be that they would be safe from harm. So sending that out. We would wish that they would be healthy as they could be. We might wish, sort of a last wish, that they have a life that has ease in it. That it's not all always on. So happiness, safety, health, ease. These four things we wish or we pray for that person. Maybe you feel some connection there with them. And you could let that connection slowly fade. Maybe just come back to feeling your body, feeling yourself in the posture that you're in this moment that we're all sharing together. And if your eyes have been closed, you could open them. And well, here we are. I just opened my eyes, and Corinne and Kiara are still here, so that's good. And I'm wondering how it was with you two. What was it? What was this like for you?
Very
Any?
relaxing.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I would say it was very relaxing. It was nice to think about a world for this person and a life for them that was all the things that you described. Um and because you know, the world cannot be all of those things sometimes and it can be difficult. And so
Yeah.
such a nice thing to feel for ourselves and also for someone else. So it was a really nice practice.
Yeah. Okay. And so I sort of wanted to start out with that as an ideal, right? Ideal that that's what we wish and pray for our child or the kids that we care for, because we're really learning life skills together, is asking parents and carers, as we call them, that's pretty much anybody, who cares about a child, to think about these four really important skills for mental health and to model them themselves and share them when they can with the kids. And so we've been at this for a while, and we've talked about the skill of paying attention. And we've talked about the skill of working with our emotions as they show up. And sometimes with kids, and particularly with teens, those emotions can feel really big. They feel like I can't even get my arms around this, you know? And so I was really interested in bringing you guys on to talk about the Teen Talk line because of this, because actually what we're talking about right now is the skill of communicating effectively, which for me means being able to say what it is that you need in a way that will help you to get it. That's the effective part of the communication. And so when you can't even wrap your arms around your emotion, that can be a really hard thing. And so I'm trying to present in these weekly Zoom meetings a bunch of resources for people, and yours is a big one, I think, for really for parents and for teens. I mean, for parents because it's for their teens. So I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about Chester County Teen Talk Line and what it is and how it got started and how it keeps going.
Sure. Um, so Chester County Teen Talk Line is a free warm line in the county for teens. And so the one of the best features about our line is that we have our teen volunteers that man these calls and texts. And so when a teen will text into our line, they're talking to another teen, they're not talking to an adult. And so there's a lot less pressure, there's a lot less, there's no judgment on our end for who we talk to and the teens that we serve. And our teen volunteers go through a robust training and they get support throughout their conversations with whoever they might be talking to. The calls and texts can remain confidential. And the teens can also remain anonymous. The only information that we need is to know what town you're calling from because we have a certain service area. And just quickly, I'm going to give the two phone numbers for Chester County Teen Talk Line. So the first one is to call. It's 855-852-8336. And to text is 484-362-9515. And
And
so,
and when
go
we
ahead.
post this, we will post those numbers as well.
Good, thank you. So, um, and so we also have a Montgomery County Teen Talk Line as well. And so the Chester County Teen Talk Line is just an extension of the Montgomery County Teen Talk Line. And in Montgomery County as well, we have a support line, a warm line for adults as well. And so Chester County's Teen Talk Line is just a little bit newer, whereas those other lines have been around for, I think, about 10 years. But they're really just so that people get just support that they need, and all of those lines are manned by peers. So you're talking, it's not, you're not talking to a professional, or well, you are talking to a professional, but not in a real formal serious way, as talking to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, where it can be a little more intense. It's just kind of meant to be a phone call with someone that's just really supportive. um and I like when you were talking about when teens have those big emotions and, trying to wrap your arms around it, they might not be able to wrap their arms around it completely, but we provide another set of arms for those feelings.
Yeah. So maybe we could drill down a little bit, as they say, on that. So when a teen calls, what happens?
Yeah, so they just pop up on our screen, and once we answer, we just let them know, hi, this is the Teen Talk Line, this is blah 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 speaking. The only piece of information that I would need to continue is the town in which you live in. And from there, we of course ask whether they would like to share their name, age, and pronouns. As we said, they could remain completely anonymous if they wanted to. However, let's say that they do stick around with us and they do call us maybe like a couple times and they become a more repeat person. We do have the logs of their previous interactions just to know what's going on with them and also the
Yeah.
best way to support them, because it gets redundant talking to new people all the time and getting passed around. It's difficult to explain, oh, I just talked to blah, blah, blah. Now I have to talk to blah, blah, blah about this situation. It's great that they can just call in and continue and pick up like
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great. So, um, how how do you work with somebody who comes in and says, I don't know really what's going on with me. I have this situation. I'll try to explain it. How does that roll out with another teen? I mean,
yeah. First we love to explore the ambiguity of the situation. Is it something a lot more serious pertaining to their mental health in terms of their
yeah,
safety? Or is this something that's a little bit more mundane where it's just something that they just want to talk about? Um, just talking in general and hearing yourself or texting it out can reveal a lot of, wow, like I am feeling this way.
yeah,
And when it comes to teen connection, it's fantastic because they are on the same grounds and they can try to understand each other. And sometimes it's just that level of effort that the teen providing support is enough for the other teen to be like, wow, like, it does matter, not only to my peers that are my age, but, adults as well.
yeah, yeah. So a teen who doesn't quite know what's going on with them can kind of define what's happening with them. And, talking about this effective communication thing, here we go. So now I know a little more of what I need to say. So it's kind of like, I guess I need to talk to my parents, but how do I do that? Can I rehearse this? Can we talk about how I would say this? That kind of that's one of the parts of this, I'm guessing, is that people are looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of that, we definitely allow them to go back and forth with us to rehearse it and have discussed maybe things that they did in the past that didn't work, or
Mhm.
maybe a different way of approaching the situation,
Uh,
maybe just a whole bunch of different methods and alternatives for them to do and also build their confidence in actually doing so.
Yeah, yeah, to get them to that point. Because I'm trying to look at this from the parent's point of view or the carer's point of view. It's like, so I want to say to this child, this teen, hey, here's a resource that you could use. I think it might be helpful. It might be a good idea. You see what you think. I mean, with teens, it's kind of hard to push anything on them. I've noticed. But to make it available and to make it like an okay thing, like this isn't weird, this isn't strange. It's, you need somebody to talk to, and here are people, here are teens who like to talk about these things because maybe your friends don't. I mean, there's that part too. So I'm really thinking about that. So how do you, as a parent or as a carer, let your teen know, or the teens that you're working with? I mean, if you're a carer, you might be a Sunday school teacher, you might be a coach, and this is a great resource. So you might want people to know. So I don't know, Corinne or Kiara,
Yeah.
how do you do that? How do you as an adult do that part, right?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's something that, in my role, I think about a lot because my role is to really spread the awareness of this line, and this resource out into the county. And it's so I can bring, the awareness to it. But it's also an interesting, question that we're still trying to figure out of how comfortable do they feel using our line, and what makes them feel comfortable. And one of the things that we really try to stress is that it's very low key. You can do it in privacy. You're just talking to another teen, or if you're calling, you're talking to, someone like Kiara, and someone that's just right around your age. Um, and I think for parents, I mean, my advice too, we have our little tear off pads, and we have a couple of we have our pencils and like kind of giveaway materials that have the information on it. And having it in the house, sometimes, you can tell a teen about it maybe once or twice. And then otherwise have our flyer up in your Sunday school room, um, or just
On the
having a
refrigerator.
bulletin board. Yeah, on a refrigerator, exactly. And just kind of having that number there. But one of the things that I really like to say about this line is, and I think they call it bed rotting, but like a lot of people, because they're tired and they just want to relax, and so they'll get on their phone. Um, and I remember even being a teenager and feeling some depression, and um you can be on your phone and just give us a text. It's very low key. You don't need insurance. The only thing that might be recorded is just your location, and just kind of a little bit about what was talked about on the call, just so that, or the text, just so that we can have that continuity of care. But yeah, it's just really kind of stressing that it's a very low-key mental health resource. It's very informal, and I would hope that teens feel more comfortable um accessing it that way. I don't know if you have any extra thoughts on that, Kiara.
Yeah, definitely. Even with, guidance counselors recommending our line, we can't force a teen to reach out to us, and we
Right.
totally do respect that, which is why, they can stop at any time. If they feel like, hey, this is a little bit too much to me for me on the phone, I'm gonna end the call early. That's perfectly fine. If they stop texting us out of the blue, it's perfectly fine. It's just about, hmm, it's really about just building that initial rapport with them that is very highly important. Um, as Don mentioned earlier, a lot of teens don't get support from their peers and they feel like they can't talk to their friends about this. And even texting or calling a talk line is somewhat stigmatized and they might feel weird about it.
Yeah.
But we're just here for them to meet them where they're at, not to fix them, not to diagnose them, not to do anything,
Yeah.
but just to be on their level and listen to what they have to say and just let them know that we're here as well as that big set of arms.
Yeah, and so it's a really great name if you take it seriously. It is a teen talk line. It's not the teen let me fix you line. It's not the teen I'm going to turn you in line. It's not anything like that. It's just talk. It's just an
Yeah.
opportunity to do that communication. And the more that we communicate about things that are difficult, the easier it does become. And I'm not sure all teens believe that, but it's true. We learn to, you know, oh, this is a good phrase. This works. This actually describes how I feel. This describes what's going on with me. So to be able to do that and trade that with a peer, that's really great kind of resource for folks. So I'm wondering if I'm missing anything that you guys want to say about Teen Talk.
Hmm. Um, if there were anything to go awry, or let's say there is concerns for the teen safety, we are partnered with the Valley Creek Crisis Center along with the Montgomery Mobile Crisis Center just to provide extra support if they need be. We can urge them to reach out just to also get additional resources that we cannot provide.
Right. I think that's really important. Yeah. Cool. Corinne, did you have something?
Yeah, I think I think we covered a lot, and I'm hoping that more teens become more comfortable with this line. And I'm thinking about something that you said earlier about, um, parents connecting with their teens and utilizing the line. And I'm hoping that, and as Kiara said, a line like this can even be stigmatized, and it is different than talking to, a friend where they might feel a little uncomfortable with it. A lot of our volunteers are very interested in kind of learning about the mental health field and working as a practitioner. And so they're there to really provide support. They're eager to do it. They want to help. Um, and it's a really nice way for there to be community and connection. Um, and so I personally, even outside of my job, really like that this resource exists. And I love that it doesn't have a barrier. So it's really a great resource, and I hope more teens feel comfortable reaching out. And again, as Kiara said, it doesn't have to be something serious. You can text us for 5 minutes. You can text us about anything at all. You can, say, hey, can I show you a picture of my dog? Like anything like
Yeah.
that. So but it's really nice for that connection, and then also just learning also how to communicate your feelings, because you're constantly learning as you're a teen about communication um and talking to your carers and whoever else you need to in your life. So we're here for you.
Nice. Okay. So with everyone that I have spoken to on the Zoom meeting, I have asked them at the end if they have a word of wisdom for us. Um, or a watchword. So some words of wisdom, might be a sentence or so. A watchword might be one word, but you need to explain it. You can't just say the one word. Okay. So what would you say? Would you want to leave us with a word of wisdom?
Um, One word of wisdom that I personally like is the only person that wants it more than me today is me tomorrow. Progression does take time, and we can only build off of what we know. And if I can do with the most that I have today, then I'll be happy tomorrow.
Mm, okay, nice. Thank you.
I think something that I think about a lot is self-care. And self-care often looks like a bubble bath or a cup of tea or, even just resting. But it's also doing the things that we don't want to do, and doing basic
Mm,
like drinking enough water, or if a friend's really not good for us to talk to, or if, we're talking to a boy and he's not treating us well, or any kind of romantic partner, or anybody that you have a crush on and they're not treating you well, anything like that. Um, Self-care is often so many things, and it really includes those things that you don't want to do, but they're good for you anyway. So,
mm. Okay, that's a wonderful one to ponder. All right, for the parents and carers as well as
yes.
teens. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been great. And as I said, we will put your numbers up. Um, if you want to send me the numbers and any other information that you would like to have sort of behind this, it will be in the show notes and folks will be able to find it rather than trying to scribble it down as you were saying. All right. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Bye bye.